guys, it is Cassandra, and today I am doing a tag with some of the geeks and beauties, and it is a palette recommendation tag. I'm pulling up the questions. So all of my palettes are kept in this very cute box, but now I kind of have them all over the place so that I can look at them and try to figure out what I'm going to use for these questions. I'm going to change some of the questions because some of them are related to like drugstore brands, and I don't own any drugstore brand makeup, or well, not makeup, but eyeshadow palettes, or palettes period, because I think some of them aren't even going to be eyeshadow palettes. So let's get started. Best beginner palette. My best beginner palette is from Urban Decay, and it is the Shadow Box palette. And it looks like this. It doesn't come with a brush, which is one sad thing, but I think this has like a decent amount of colors versus neutrals. So if you want to mess with colors, it's good, but if you want to stick with some of the more neutral colors, it's also good. So there we go. Urban Decay Shadow Box. That is my best beginner's palette. Best drugstore palette. Now, as I said, I don't own any drugstore palettes, so I'm going to go with the best, like, inexpensive palette, I guess. And for that, I am going to go with the Take Me to Brazil by BH Cosmetics, which is this, and it's got a whole lot of colors, and it's got the two like changing colors so that we can kind of brighten it or darken it. And like, I tend to have some problems using BH Cosmetics, but for the price point it's not too super bad. It's kind of okay. Sorry, just checking to see. I thought one of my other palettes kind of fell apart, but it didn't. I'm good. Best work slash school palette. Normally I would go back to Shadow Box, but I'm going to try to not repeat palettes on this. So I am going to use the Urban Decay Ammo palette, which is pretty similar to Shadow Box, although it comes with a brush. That one comes with a brush. And that is this one. And it has a few more colors in there. Like, there's a few more purples, but there are still pretty decent neutral colors in here. Both Ammo and Shadow Box are like my normal, if I'm going out somewhere and I need to look like a normal person kind of makeup. Those are my two go-to palettes for those. Next. Best natural way to work with color. I don't know what that means. So the best like natural palette that I have that has color in it, I guess. I guess I'm gonna go with the Naked Heat. This is the palette that I just recently bought for my daughter, and it looks like this with the brush. Can't fold that over with that. So like, to me this is like a neutral color still. Like, there's a lot of reds in there, but they're not really bright colors, because most of my palettes that I own are extraordinarily bright colors, so there isn't like a natural way to work with them. I don't really know what that means. Biggest bang for your buck. Biggest bang for my buck is, I guess, I'm gonna go with a blush palette, and this is the Too Faced Love Flush blush palette. It's got all of these colors. Because this was like a Valentine's Day palette, which is why it's all hearts, and it wasn't super expensive, and you get 6 blushes with it, and I can almost always find a blush that goes with the look that I want. So that's the biggest bang for my buck. Next, best palette for, and then you're supposed to insert your eye color. So here's the thing, the best palette for, normally I have brown eyes, like when I have my contacts not in, but when my contacts are in, my eyes are purple. So I'm actually going to go with, I think this one, yeah. I'm going to go with my Vice palette by Urban Decay. That's what the front of it looks like. Because it kind of has a bunch of colors that go with both eye colors. It has a lot of the like blues and greens, which really highlight brown eyes, but it also has some neutrals, and there are a couple of like pinky purple ones, which I think look better with the purple eyes. So there we go. The Vice, I think that's just the Vice. I don't think that's Vice 4, maybe? I don't know. Urban Decay Vice is the best palette for eye color, best palette for your tone color, your skin tone color. I don't even know how to explain my skin tone. So I'm just gonna go with the Gwen Stefani Urban Decay blush palette, because again it has a number of colors that even work as contour. There aren't, like, some of the blushes, like you can tell from this, like these are my two kind of go-to blushes for these, and I tend to use these for more like contour-y type things. But at the same time, like when it is summertime, I can still use those like lighter browns as a blush if I want to, because I have kind of brownish toned skin a little bit. I'm like tan, not super white, more of a like medium kind of color. So I can use those tan colors as a blush if I so desire. Best all-in-one palette. I don't have an all-in-one palette. I don't know what that means. Best all-in-one palette. I don't own any of those. I need to like fix this palette though. I don't know what that's up with that. I don't have an all-in-one palette, and I don't even know. I don't know. I don't understand. So I'm gonna skip that one. Best travel palette. You know what? I was trying really hard to not reuse these, but like I said, these two are my go-to most of the time. So either the Shadow Box or the Ammo are good travel palettes because they're fairly small. Like if we compare these to the size of the Take Me to Brazil or like the Vice, like they're decently small palettes that have a bunch of different colors that you can work with. As I've said, they're my favorite ones. I think maybe Ammo is a little bit smaller than Shadow Box, just a little tiny bit. So either one of those are great travel palettes. And finally, palette I don't recommend. I really don't. So this is the one that I'm having problems with right now, is the BH Cosmetics Ion 80s. And it's mostly because like I took out the plastic piece because it was getting in my way for everything. But there's nothing in these hearts. So this eyeshadow is now kind of getting all over the place. But here is the color palette on them, which isn't terrible, except that, like, as I've said, on the other one even, I have problems getting BH Cosmetics eyeshadows, or at least these two palettes. Maybe it's just these two palettes. Getting them to work properly. Like I have problems with like these yellows and greens. That one, trying to get them to show up at all. So, like I don't know. I don't recommend this one. Eyes on 80s by BH Cosmetics. It's kind of the only one, like I don't even have that much problem with Take Me to Brazil. Like I have some problems with, I think, this bright yellow. But the rest of them are okay. But Eyes on 80s, like you really need to like pack a lot of color in there to get it to show up, and I hate that. I hate that a lot. So those are my palette recommendations. You know what, let me toss in, just to show you, Eyes on 80s, you're killing me. Let me just show you my other palettes so that way we can kind of get through all of this. And I know people have asked about my palette. So we've talked about Take Me to Brazil, we talked about Gwen Stefani Blush, we talked about Vice, I'm pretty sure this is Vice 4 maybe, I don't know, Vice, Urban Decay Vice, Too Faced Love Flush, Urban Decay Naked Heat, Urban Decay Ammo, Urban Decay Shadow Box, the BH Cosmetic Eye on 80s, and then I also have the Urban Decay Full Spectrum, which has a lot of colors in it. Ooh, cameras. And I have the Urban Decay Moon Dust, which I believe I've talked about before too. Boom, 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 boom. It's all glitter. To go with that, I have the Too Faced Glitter Bomb, which I used recently in a look. And then I got the Supernatural palette from Hot Topic. I haven't even, like, this is still the plastic on it. Barely, I haven't even used it. I just mostly bought it because it was Supernatural. And then I have the Kat Von D Alchemist highlighter palette. And those are all of the palettes that I own. So let me know what you think. I am a bit of an Urban Decay junkie. As you can tell, I have a lot of Urban Decay palettes. I'm trying to not buy all of them. I'm not really into the naked palettes, so thankfully. But let me know what you think. What is your favorite palette? Do you have any of these palettes that you absolutely adore? Let me know down in the comments. Or how about which of these palettes do you hate? What is your most hated palette? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see all of my videos. And go check out that Patreon because I just added some new rewards over there. So there is some pretty cool stuff to get. You know you want it. Go check it out. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram as Dear Cassandra Morgan and over on Twitter as Cassandra Morgan. I will see you next time. Bye.